Hey, what's up guys, Davis here. Today I want to talk about the G87 M2. It's my personal car and I want to show you what I don't like about it. First of all, before I explain anything to you, you have to understand that this car, the base is a 2 Series. First they designed the 2 Series and then they developed this M2. Just like M3, it's based off of a 3 Series platform which they develop it to become an over fender for the M3. What I don't like about this car is, first of all, 2 Series, the G42 was developed to become a very sporty car. And all of a sudden, they put this square theme on the front and the rear. So it's not wearing the exact same suit. The base of this car wants to be sporty, and then this M2 wants to be boxy. I mean, a lot of people say, yeah, it still looks fresh and good, but as a designer's perspective, I find a lot of flaws. Try to fit this square front to a sporty 2 Series. I'll explain to you why. Let's look at the headlamp, for example. This hood is obviously a carryover from the 2 Series, wants to be very sporty. So the line goes down, but at the same time, this bumper wants to keep a very square look on the headlamp, which makes it very squarish. But because of this graphic, they have to force this surface to go up. So what you're seeing here is the hood wants to go down, and then this surface wants to go up. So there's a weird break here, which is kind of forcing the front architecture in 2 different languages. That's the first thing that I noticed when I saw this car. So in some angles, these graphics don't match. They look like it's broken. It's not one line, but it comes down there and then it comes out over here. So that was one of the biggest things that I noticed on this car. Second of all, this hood wants to go down, but because this is an over fender, this fender wants to go sideways. So it's completely broken from the hood and the fender. Just to give you an explanation of how I see it on the section is, you put a tape down here, you see that big gap right there? I don't know, it looks very broken to me. There's a wall here and then there's a wall there. It doesn't flow with each other. These are the 2 biggest things. I mean, regardless of the square theme or whatever, architecturally that I feel is wrong as a designer's perspective. How would we fix that? Some graphical and architectural weird aspects of a car. Now, I'm just gonna use some tape. First of all, I would let this line flow together as a whole, not to make it break in the center. I would actually put a tape from here to there. Can you spot the difference between this and that side? This one flows way more naturally from the top of the headlamp to the bumper versus this, it completely breaks. So that's what I would have done from the first place to make this car more natural. Second of all, I want to talk about the hood. This hood right here, from the side view, if you look from the rear quarter, you can tell that this hood is overly high. It goes against the dynamic of the car. It makes it look like it's too straight. What I would have done is put this line way more lower towards the front and then push all of these lines down. Because what you want to do in car design is you want to make sure that these lines are not opening up towards the front, but you want it to actually go narrower towards the front so that you have a more wedge feeling, which attributes to the dynamics of the car. So that's what I would have done. And then if you look from the rear quarter, you can definitely tell that the car has more lower stance and it looks way more dynamic. Now I'm gonna take this tape off and see what you guys think for yourself from this angle. So if I take it off, you would immediately tell that this looks wider than this. So that's what we're gonna do on the hood. So enough talking, I want to show you guys what we actually did. Not just a tape, but we actually manufactured the hood and the bumper. And I'm going to compare it to you guys side by side. I'm going to fly to Korea, follow me. Hey, what's up guys? I'm finally here in Korea and I have our ADRO M2 bumper and our G87 stock bumper right in front of you. So the biggest difference between the OEM bumper and the ADRO bumper, for me, there's a couple things that I explained to you in the US. Of course, the hood profile and then this profile coming down and this going up. But because we're seeing it from the front, I want to explain to you also what's different in terms of aggressiveness. First of all, this car, everything is vertical. Every element here is vertical. This is vertical, that's vertical, that's vertical, that's vertical, that's vertical. Too many verticals, that's vertical. There is no angle in the car. And as I previously explained to you in US, this car is based off of an M240. It shares the same chassis. That 2 Series was designed for a coupe. And then all of a sudden they put this boxy theme in here. We wanted to make that look a little more natural. Give it a bit more angle, like the whole car was intended to be. So this one has an angle, that one has an angle, this one has an angle, this one even has more angle, and angle, angle, angle. Only this is vertical here. And I think because this car is based off of a 2 Series, it looks way more aggressive with more angles. The first thing I showed you in US is this hood. This section of the hood is that much gap. And what you see here, which just has the same fender, but just with tape, this gap is significantly smaller than this gap. It makes a huge difference. I'll tell you why. It's because, first of all, if you see from there, you can see that this surface is actually way more flatter, which makes it look much wider. And also this line is way more inboard, which also creates this long fender look. Now I'm going to show you how much wider it looks just by measuring with tape, exact tape. There you go. That's how much we went more inboard with this line and lower, creating a way more bigger fender look. So as I explained to you guys with the tape in US, this is broken. We also fixed that. Look at this line. It now flows much more naturally from the headlamp. It's very connected. I mean, we wanted to connect it even more, but that was way too much because we can't make the headlamp go over there, right? So this is the maximum we got, and I think it looks way more natural than the stock M2 bumper. This one has an angle, so it breaks. But this is the real thing, the real bumper that we mass produced it. Just to give you an information, this whole steel mold process cost us about $500,000. You might wonder why. It's just a plastic. Why is it so expensive? And I'm gonna explain to you step by step why it was such a big investment for us and why it's so expensive. First of all, if you wanna make a plastic size this big, you need a steel cube of as big as that, because it's basically you're making the steel, you're forcing the steel to compress, and then the hot plastic polypropylene actually inserts in between. So it's a huge chunk of steel, and that's what it costs really much. And NCing it and all the cutting inside involves a lot of investment. There it is, our plastic molded injection bumper. You can see there's a huge chunk of plastic, just like the OEM. Everything is engineered in there, of all the keys and frames for it, for all the parts to attach. And then there's more. Look at what's behind it. These are all the parts that come with that bumper. For example, these are the frame that holds the grille inner structure. These are the inner bumpers. This is the lower intake. Everything has been designed. This is what you see, but inside all of these frames were engineered to fit just like the OEM. All the PDC sensors, even the tow hitch cover. So put a lot of thought into this, and many of you guys have been wondering, where does the license plate go? And we have a solution for that. We made one too. This is just like the OEM license plate holder, where of course in US nobody likes to put the front license plate, but for around the world, this is exactly where you can place it right on the lower side of the grille, and then you can put the license plate there. It was a very weird spot because ACC radar there and then the grille, so there was not much space to put this actually, but I think it works pretty well with the front bumper design. But let's look at the side of the car. You can tell how much lower this car looks compared to the OEM bumper. There's many things that we did. Of course, I explained in the previous video that we got rid of this hump on the bumper from the hood, so everything flows really well, and at the same time we gave that little bit of a lip feeling, so it looks very aggressive from the bottom. So if you compare this to the OEM front, this one looks for me way more aggressive and sporty in a way. Now let's look at the OEM. As I explained to you guys in US, the bumper actually goes up and then there's no chin so the car kind of looks stubby and Lego-ish in a way. What I also love is every little single details of this has been very thought out. And of course, as a BMW enthusiast, I wanted to really keep the heritage of the vertical grills, and the shape of the grill has a lot of sharp nose to it. Also, I'm very proud of this fin that holds it from the side. It turned out great. I mean, the quality is just insane in real life. This is not just an element, but it makes the car actually more horizontal because your eye catches this black at the end. So it kind of looks very wide because of these black garnishes. And also from the side view, it has this very aggressive angle. So it's not just a flat Lego surface treatment, but it has a little bit of character in terms of the side. All of these volumes were of course carefully thought out. It's not just a flat surface. We have a little bit of a fender flare that goes around here because this is an M car. M is always wider than a regular car. So you wanted to give that a lot of nice sensual fender flares to it. I just absolutely love this hood. I mean, I'm super biased, right? But the first time I saw this, I couldn't close my mouth of how good it looks. I mean, I explained to you how the edge goes lower, but what I really love is this indent in the hood and this power bulge that holds it from the center. It gives that a very motorsport look to it, which I love. And I'm really proud that we could push as much as possible to lower the car and widen the car and at the same time make it work. So this is all fully functional. One more thing is, did you guys ever see the G87 camouflage LCI kind of a bumper out there? Actually, that was us. We were testing the car and yeah, they took photos and it was released. Yeah, whatever. So also we have a vented hood. It's not just the hole. We have mesh that covers it, but I mean, of course, these holes are for the heat to pull out. And there's always a little bit of a curvature that goes on top so that the air can flow and suck the hot air outside. What I really like, the details that I like to put in these kind of things is not just it looks good, but you're not gonna drive this only when it's not raining. Sometimes it rains when you drive. And what you really want to do is you want to minimize the water going into the engine. Of course, this area is not critical, but we want to get less water in there. So we gave this a little bit of a flick that goes all the way around so that the water doesn't just drip. It kind of stays here for it to dry out. It does have like a 10 millimeter of height so that the water doesn't just flow in there. It captures a little bit. So I think that's some kind of a detail that I love to put in the car. I care. I mean, I drive an M2, so, and I'm gonna put this hood on, so. You guys have seen the ADRO V1 side skirts, very racy. It has fins and everything. There's a lot of curvature. But this one, we wanted to really keep it OEM plus. So it's very subtle in the photos, but once you see it, you realize that everything is in place. What we try to do was not do some crazy fins or lip or anything, but a very unified side skirt that comes out from here and then it elegantly tucks in so that it's not in your face, but without it, it will look pretty empty. Also, I want to talk to you about the spoiler that we worked on. Actually, this is, yeah, same here. It's one of my favorite spoilers. I mean, there's a lot of CSL style duckbill spoilers out there, but this one we wanted to differentiate a little bit, giving it a dual element type of a spoiler. So it's actually much better for the airflow because there's a high speed air that goes under and attaches to the underside of the lip. And also it gives that very boxy rear a little bit of taste, a little bit of detail. And I love the shot like from under where you can see this going all the way around and then the right amount of a hole, that square look hole in the car. It's very CSL style, and also it's not in your face, but these are little detail touches that I love to put on the car. Also, this diffuser, we have a very aggressive V1 diffuser, but we wanted to keep it very tame. We wanted to keep it very OEM plus, so we don't have the crazy fins on the side, but what we wanted to achieve was to come out a little bit more for the side view profile. When the diffuser comes out a little more, it always gives a bit more of an aggressive look from the side. And also we have this nice detail that goes around, which kind of embraces the shape of the spoiler. So it extends about 50 millimeters. So the beauty of this diffuser is, of course it's very subtle. What you really realize is when you come to the side, look at the side, it comes out. So you see that little bit of a carbon compensating that little bit of aggressiveness of the spoiler. Now compare that with the OEM bumper where this one is the farthest point out and this one looks kind of empty. So we pulled it out quite a bit and it gives it a different look to it. All right guys, back to US. Now I'm at the rear of the car. A lot of people actually commented they want us to fix the rear on the M2. Yes, we are looking heavily into it, but I want to tell you what's the real problem on the rear. I mean, the bumper is not 100% to my liking, but the biggest hate that I have on the rear is actually the taillights. They look like Sid from Ice Age. Their eyes are looking like to the far sides of each other. And I think there's a reason why, because they wanted to keep single tail lamp instead of a dual tail lamp to cut the cost. And also 1 Series, 2 Series is always about the single tail light. What if we can change the graphic of the tail lamp to connect it closer to the center? Not having to change the whole rear quarter panel, but just extending the graphics. So all we have to do is actually just change the trunk. What if we can do this? So what if you can just change the trunk and put a little dummy on the tail lamp so it doesn't look like it's looking outboards, but it's looking at the front now? Would you guys be down for this? There's a lot of complications on doing the tail lamps, but please leave us in the comments what you guys think, or we should really do it or not. If you guys want more contents like this, please hit subscribe. Leave us in the comments what you guys want to see. I'll do my best to look at the comments thoroughly, and then I'll see you on the next episode. Go!